A lot of veterans walk out of a C&P exam thinking the same thing. That did not go right. The examiner was rushed. They barely asked anything. They wrote something down that was wrong. And now the veteran is sitting in the parking lot thinking, my claim is done. That is not necessarily true, but here is what is true. A bad exam does not automatically mean a lost claim. What can hurt the claim is what the veteran does next. Some veterans go back in and argue. Some call VA while they are still angry before they have written down the facts clearly. Some go home, do nothing, and let the bad exam become the only version of the story VA ever sees. This video is about all of that, what to do and what not to do when a C&P exam goes wrong. This is the final episode of the C&P Exam Battlefield SOP series, and this is the mission. In this series, we have covered how to prepare for a C&P exam, how to explain symptoms honestly, how to communicate bad days without exaggerating, and how to understand what the examiner is actually documenting. This final episode closes the loop because sometimes, despite preparation, the exam goes sideways. And when that happens, the veteran needs a plan, not a panic response, not an emotional reaction. A plan. Here's the standard. Do not respond emotionally. Respond officially. The examiner does not decide your claim. The record does. Your job, if the exam went wrong, is to protect the record. That is the mission for the rest of this video. The 48-hour post-exam SOP. Let's get into the practical steps right now, because if your exam just happened, or it happened recently, this is what you need to do. Step 1, do not argue in the room. If the exam goes sideways, finish the exam. Stay cooperative, stay respectful. Do not confront the examiner. Do not demand to start over. Your chance to respond is not in that room. Your chance to respond is in the official record. Step 2, write down exactly what happened as soon as possible. I teach 48 hours. Not because it is a VA regulatory deadline, not because there is a magic legal window that closes at hour 49. The 48-hour window is not a magic legal deadline. It is a discipline. VA says to report concerns right away. I teach 48 hours because that is when your memory is fresh and the details are still clean. The claim may still be pending. The record may not be closed. The sooner you move, the better your chances of getting your side of the story into the file before the decision is made. Write down the facts, not accusations. Facts. Step 3, identify what went wrong specifically. What was skipped? What was inaccurate? What did the examiner document that was wrong? What evidence was part of your file that the examiner appeared to ignore? Be specific. Vague complaints do not move the record. Specific facts do. Step 4, report the concern through the right channels. VA says, veterans should report exam concerns right away. You can complete the contractor survey if one is provided. You can call the contractor. You can call VA. You can contact your local VA regional office. Step 5, upload a written statement into the claim file. This is the most important step. A written statement becomes part of your official claim record. It is something the rater may see before the decision is made. Use this structure for your statement. Date of the exam, condition examined, contractor or location, what happened factually, what was skipped, what was inaccurate or misrepresented, what evidence was ignored, what you are asking VA to do. Then close with this language. I am not refusing to cooperate with the exam process. I am asking VA to consider this statement and review whether the examination is complete and adequate for rating purposes. That language matters. It keeps you cooperative, professional, and factual. Step 6, ask VA to review whether the exam is complete and adequate for rating purposes. You are not demanding a new exam. You are making a factual argument. There is a difference. And we will talk about what that argument looks like in a moment. And remember, a short exam is not automatically a bad exam. The issue is not the length of the exam. The issue is whether the report is accurate, complete, and supported. Rude examiner versus inadequate exam. Now here is the part most veterans miss. There is a difference between a rude examiner and an inadequate exam, and that difference matters more than anything else in this process. A rude examiner, one who seems cold, rushed, or dismissive may be frustrating. That frustration is valid, but bad attitude alone is not always an inadequate exam. The real question is this: did the exam report accurately capture your condition? Was it complete? Was it detailed enough for VA to rate the claim? Was it supported by findings? That is the standard that matters. There is a regulation 38 CFR section 4.2, plain English: if an exam report lacks enough detail or is not supported by the findings, VA may need to return it as inadequate for rating purposes. That is different from simply saying the examiner was rude. Rudeness is frustrating. An incomplete, inaccurate, or unsupported exam report, that is a claim issue. And that is where you have ground to stand on. Here is what a real red flag looks like. The examiner said the veteran denied flare-ups, but the veteran clearly explained them. The examiner never asked about functional loss. The examiner did not measure range of motion when the condition clearly required it. The examiner wrote that the condition started after service, even though service treatment records show complaints while the veteran was still on active duty. The examiner ignored a spouse statement, a migraine log, private treatment records, or a medication history that was already in the claim file. The examiner gave a negative opinion but did not explain the reasoning. Those are not just bad attitudes. Those are potentially inadequate exam findings. And that is what your written statement should point to, specifically, factually, and officially. Think of it this way: a bad C&P exam is like a bad patrol report. You do not fix a bad patrol report by yelling at the person who wrote it. You fix it by getting accurate facts into the official record. That is the approach. What not to do. Let's talk about the wrong moves, because some veterans respond to a bad exam in ways that actually weaken their position. Do not attack the examiner personally. Attack the error in the record. Do not exaggerate symptoms after the fact. If the examiner missed something real, document what was actually missed, not a more dramatic version of your symptoms. Accuracy is the mission in both directions. The goal is not a better record at any cost. The goal is an accurate record. Do not make vague accusations with no specific details. Calling VA and saying the examiner was mean without a written statement and without facts behind it is not likely to get the result you want. Build the paper record first. Do not secretly record the exam. I am not going to get into recording laws. What I will say is this: the stronger play is always documentation after the fact, combined with official reporting. Do not skip future exams. Missing a C&P exam can hurt the claim on its own. If you cannot attend, contact VA or the contractor right away and reschedule properly. And do not just call angry and leave no written record. A phone call without documentation can be hard to track later. The written statement in the claim file gives VA something clear to review. You are not there to win an argument. You are there to make a record. Here is the short version. A hostile examiner does not get the final word. The record does. A rude exam and an inadequate exam are not always the same thing. The stronger claim issue is whether the report is accurate, complete, and detailed enough for VA to rate the claim, not just whether the examiner was difficult. If the exam went wrong, do not argue in the room. Document within 48 hours. Report through the right channels. Upload a written statement into the claim file. Request adequacy review if the facts support it. Stay professional throughout. Do not respond emotionally. Respond officially. A bad exam does not automatically mean a lost claim, but silence can let a bad exam speak for you. You have moves. Use them. Now that the C&P Exam Battlefield SOP series is complete, from preparation to post-exam response, the next series shifts to a different challenge, one that affects a lot of veterans over 40. The next series is called the Over 40 Veteran Gap Strategy, because many veterans in that group have real conditions, real pain, and real service history. But they also have gaps in treatment records, gaps in documentation, years where they pushed through and never went to the doctor. That gap does not mean the claim is impossible, but it does mean the veteran needs a strategy, not a guess, not a surrender, a strategy. If you are over 40 and you have been pushing through pain for years without a clean medical paper trail, the next series is for you. If the decision has already come back and you believe a bad exam affected the outcome, Do not guess at what went wrong. Start with the decision letter. Use the free VA letter translator at veteranclaimsmadeeasy.com/VA-letter-translator. It can help you understand what VA said, what evidence they used, what was denied, and what may need to be addressed. Next, that is where clarity starts. veteranclaimsmadeeasy.com/VA-letter-translator. This is educational and organizational support only. It is not legal advice, medical advice, accredited representation, claims filing, or a guarantee of VA benefits. My goal is never to mislead, only to empower you with accurate, honest, and actionable information. Semper Fidelis, and God bless.